A single drop of oil catches my eye. It falls from somewhere above and lands neatly on my console, spreading across the metal like a dark, living thing. The dim red lights overhead shimmer in its surface, tiny worlds floating inside a black sea. For a heartbeat, I hesitate to touch it, unwilling to disturb this small rebellion against order. Even here, inside a cathedral of steel, the oil reminds me that something organic remains. Moderati fun. Status. The voice of Princeps Majoris Valen cuts through my thoughts. I wipe the droplet away with my sleeve, erasing all evidence of distraction. All systems green, Princeps. Void shields at full capacity. Machine spirit readings stable. The words leave my mouth by habit. Prayers I've repeated countless times. I scan the flickering displays, translating ancient runes into information my mind can handle. The console hums beneath my fingers, warm, like blood running under skin. Not mine, but blood all the same. I serve aboard a warlord-class titan of the Legio Presagius. For 12 years, this has been my only home, my only purpose. The machine god holds me in its iron embrace, and gratitude is not optional. To feel otherwise would be heresy. We stand on the scarred plains of Callus Prime, a world poised between rebellion and compliance. Once, those words would have stirred righteous zeal. Now they are just facts, drained of emotion. Behind me, I hear the hiss of Valen shifting in his throne of cables and conduits. I do not look. I already know what I'd see, a withered body more machine than man, suspended like an insect in a web of wires. Sometimes I wonder if Valen himself still exists at all, or if only the Titan remains, wearing the memory of a man like a mask. The enemy approaches from the northeast quadrant, says Moderati Secundus Lyric. Her voice is flat, unreadable. Infantry with armored support, primitive patterns. Minimal threat. A tremor runs through the deck. The Titan stirs. It hungers for war. I feel the echo of that hunger within myself, borrowed, yet familiar. Reactor output rising. Engine seer Thule calls from below. The machine spirit is waking. My hands move across the controls, checking weapon readiness. Capacitors charge within the volcano cannon. The Gatling blaster spins for a moment, motors whining. Hydraulics hiss as the Titan's power fist flexes. We are a god preparing for battle. Through the view slits, darkness stretches ahead, broken only by distant artillery flashes. Soon, the glory sensors will override my own eyes, pouring their vision directly into my skull. I will see what the machine sees, feel what it feels, become something greater than human, and less. Moderati fun. Bring primary weapons online. Plot firing solutions for enemy armor. Yes, Princeps. Ancient panels respond under my fingers. The air is heavy with incense and the sharp bite of ozone. Servitors chant binary prayers to the machine spirit. Their voices mechanical, yet reverent. I whisper my own, words drilled into me during my initiation into the Collegia Titanica. Grant me your strength, so I may direct your wrath. Grant me your sight, so I may find your foes. Grant me your wisdom, so I may serve your purpose. The moment of joining draws near. Heat blooms at the base of my skull where the neural interface stirs, preparing to bridge flesh and metal. I crave and dread this instant alike. To merge with the Titan is to brush against divinity, and to lose myself inside something vast, ancient, and terrible. Commencing neural synchronization for battle, Valen intones. Ave Imperator. Ave Imperator, we answer together. The interface comes alive. Pain spikes in my skull, white-hot and purging. I taste copper. My lip is split from biting down. It doesn't matter. Flesh is no longer the point. My consciousness floods outward, riding the paths of the glory of Kolth. I feel its weight as if it were my own body. Suddenly, I am immense, hundreds of feet tall. My skin turned to iron, my blood replaced by coolant and fire. Power surges through channels I cannot name. The reactor's raw fury beating like a heart. I am not alone. Princeps Valen leads the shared mind. His will shaping the violence we will rain down. Moderati Lyric is there too, precise and cold. Beneath us, dozens of crew voices thread into the whole, a chorus of sensation. We take the first step and the world shudders. My human body spasms in its restraints as the Titan moves. Every impact translates back to me, a pale echo of the machine's true sensation. My hands clamp around the controls until my knuckles whiten. I am Kairos Fen still, and I am part of the glory of Kolth. The line between them blurs by the heartbeat. Through the Titan's widened sight, I watch the enemy. Infantry scatter like insects before us. Their weapons ping uselessly off void shields. Armored vehicles crawl forward, crude and desperate. Brave, but doomed. I call the target lock. My voice sounds distant, as if coming from underwater. Volcano cannon online. Fire. Valen's command rolls through our shared mind. I press the firing rune, feel a brief, firm resistance, then release. The volcano cannon lashes out, a beam hotter than a star, slicing the battlefield. Rock becomes glass. Metal vaporizes. The lead tank and everything within 50 meters simply evaporate, leaving a perfect, smoking crater. The machine's spirit sings. Something like satisfaction runs through me. This is what we were built for. Then the rebels answer with artillery. Most impacts are eaten by the void shields, mere pinpricks of noise. One shell finds purchase in our left leg. Damage reports flood the mesh, pain translated into code. Minor breach to left greave, lyric in tones. No critical systems lost. Valen orders advance, maximum stride. We crush them beneath iron feet. The Titan moves faster, each step swallowing dozens of meters. Buildings fold and splinter in our wake. We are judgment given form, the Emperors. Woolen iron and flame. I swing the Gatling blaster toward a knot of infantry who refuse to run. The gun roars, 1,000 rounds tearing through flesh and bone. Blood mists the air, visible even through smoke and grit. I feel nothing for them. From this height, they are no more than debris. Enemy armor flanking from the southeast. I report. The Auspex painting hot shapes on our vision. Unacceptable, Valen replies. Our Titan pivots with a grace that contradicts its size. The power fist swings. I energize the field around the massive hand. Lightning dances along its surface. Hungry for metal, the fist slams the lead tank and crushes it like a toy. The field arcs, leaping to nearby vehicles and turning crews inside to ash. Through the neural link, the smell of death is a metallic aftertaste. The enemy breaks. Lyric announces their retreat toward the city center. They will find no refuge there, Valen says. Prepare for urban engagement. Moderati fun. Load incendiary rounds into the Gatling, he orders. Here's your passage rewritten into an original. Clearer style, same story and mood. But no timestamps, simplified phrasing, and a fresh voice. Yes, Princeps. I make the necessary adjustments. Feeling the huge ammunition drums rotate inside the Titan's arm. The standard rounds slide away, replaced by incendiary shells hot enough to melt steel. They will turn the city into fire. For a moment, doubt flickers. There will be civilians in that city. Not all of them are rebels. Many are just trapped between forces far larger than themselves. The thought dies almost as quickly as it comes, smothered by Valen's dominating presence in our shared mind, or perhaps by my own conditioning. Mercy is not the way of the Collegia Titanica. We are tools of compliance, not salvation. We march toward the city, its skyline already shattered by earlier bombardments. Other Imperial forces converge. I see Warhound Titans, smaller, swifter than our great warlord, darting ahead to encircle the settlement. Squadrons of tanks roll in our shadow, and behind them come the infantry, ready to seize what we destroy. None of it matters to us. The glory of Kolth walks alone, supreme. Target the central administrative district, Valen orders. Let them watch their seed of rebellion burn. The volcano cannon charges again. Through our merged consciousness, I feel the energies straining against their containment. Heat ripples along the barrel. I align the targeting reticule with the city's largest structure. Firing solution locked. I report to fire. Again, that single word of judgment. Again, my hand presses the rune. Again, death flows from our arm. The beam punches through the administrative building from roof to foundation before, detonating its core systems. The tower collapses inward. Secondary explosions roll outward as power conduits overload. Fire leaps from block to block. Through the Titan's eyes, I watch tiny figures run from the inferno, specks barely visible. At this distance, something stirs inside me, pity, remorse, feelings with no place in the mind of a god machine. I feel Valen's focus shift toward me. his presence looming inside my thoughts, searching for weakness. I smother the emotions, forcing my attention back to weapons. Telemetry, damage reports. Your mind wanders. Moderati Fen. Valen's voice comes both aloud and inside my head. Such distraction dishonors the machine's spirit. Forgiveness, Princeps. I answer, the ritual words automatic. I am fully committed to our holy task. See that you remain so. We continue our advance into the burning city, weapons tearing apart everything ahead. Buildings that stood for centuries collapse under our guns. History, art, knowledge, all reduced to ash in the name of compliance. Hours pass, though time loses meaning inside the shared state. The glory of Kolth strides down streets built for vehicles a fraction of its size, crushing structures that block its path. Occasionally, defenders try to strike vulnerable joints in our armor. They die for their courage, trampled underfoot or vaporized by our guns. The neural link transmits everything, the shudder of our footsteps, the heat of our weapons, the sting of enemy fire against our shields. My body reacts to each sensation, muscles tightening, sweat soaking my robes despite the cooling systems of my station. Eventually, resistance ends. Valen calls a halt at what was once the city center, now just a plain of rubble and glass. The Titan stands over it all, a colossus of the Omnisia surveying its handiwork. Kayla's prime is compliant, Valen announces. The Emperor's will is done. Slowly, painfully, the neural link disengages. I shrink back into my own flesh, smaller, weaker. My body aches in every joint, muscles cramping from hours of tension. The taste of blood lingers from where I bit my lip. I don't remember eating or drinking during the battle. Those servitors must have handled it. Stand down from combat stations, Valen orders. His voice now only in my ears, not my mind. Perform post-battle rituals and prepare status reports. Yes, Princeps. We speak as one. I slump in my restraint throne, utterly drained. This is always the cost of communion with the machine spirit. The human body was never built to channel such power, to taste such sensations. Our moments of godhood are bought with pain and exhaustion. Servitors shuffle toward me, their half-mechanical bodies moving with awkward precision. One offers a bulb of recycled water, which I drink without hesitation. Another begins detaching the secondary neural feeds from my arms and chest, leaving only the primary interface at the base of my skull. Moderati Fen. Valen's voice rolls across the deck. Attend me. I rise on unsteady legs, forcing them to obey despite the tremors. Crossing to the rear of the command deck, I stop before the Princeps with my eyes lowered. What remains of Valen sits entombed in his throne of cables and tubes. His shrunken frame seems like a vestigial relic of humanity clinging to the machine that has replaced most of his flesh. Your performance today was adequate, he rasps through augmetic vocal cords. But I sensed hesitation during the city assault. Explain. There is no point in lying. The neural link lays bare everything. A momentary lapse, Princeps, I answer. Undisciplined thoughts. About civilian casualties. Valen's eyes narrow, the only part of his face still capable of expression. Such concerns are beneath us, Moderati. We are the Emperor's judgment. We do not question. We execute. Yes, Princeps. It will not happen again. See that it does not. I have invested much in your training. It would be unfortunate if you proved unsuitable. The threat hangs unspoken between us. In the Collegia Titanica, failure does not mean dismissal. It means recycling. Those judged unfit are stripped of identity, remade into servitors, their bodies and skills reduced to functions. I understand, Princeps. I am grateful for your guidance. Valen dismisses me with a flicker of a nod. I return to my station where the post-battle rites await. Sacred oils must be applied to the control surfaces. Prayers of thanks must be spoken to the machine spirit. Damage reports compiled and sent to the tech priests who will oversee repairs. Hours pass in ritual precision before I am released. My quarters are a narrow cell adjoining the command deck, Spartan, as befits a servant of the Omnisia. A small bunk, a shrine to the Emperor and the machine god, a desk for technical manuals and battle reports. The only personal token is a small Aquila, pendant carved from the bone of a comrade who fell in my first campaign. Even that borders on sentiment, a weakness I should have purged long ago. I strip off my sweat-soaked robes and wash in the shallow basin. The water is lukewarm and faintly chemical, recycled countless times through the Titan's systems. I do not mind. It is a privilege to share in the resources of the God Machine. Sleep takes me quickly but offers no peace. In my dreams, I still walk as a giant, raining destruction on the helpless. Only in these nightmares do I hear their screams, see their faces as they burn. I wake several times, drenched in fresh sweat despite the cool air. Between those ragged fragments of rest, my thoughts drift back to how I came here. I was born on a forge world, the child of laborers who tended the great factories. From my earliest years, I was taught to revere the machine, to see in technology the hand of the divine. And so my path led me here, into the belly of a god of war, where flesh serves steel and prayers are spoken through cannon fire. When the recruiters of the Collegia Titanica came to our forge world seeking candidates, I stepped forward without hesitation, eager to serve in the most glorious capacity imaginable. The trials were brutal: physical endurance, psychological resilience, neural compatibility. 9 out of 10 aspirants failed. The lucky ones were sent back to their former lives. The less fortunate were consigned to servitude. I succeeded where others fell short. My mind was judged suitable for communion with a machine spirit. Training followed, years of it, learning the rites and rituals, the sacred technical schematics, the doctrines of battle, learning to dissolve my own identity, to become a vessel for the will of the princeps and, through him, the will of the Titan itself. My first battle was a revelation. Power without limit, sensations beyond imagining, the godlike perspective of a war engine towering over the battlefield. I reveled in it then, convinced of the righteousness of our cause. When did that certainty begin to crumble? I cannot name the moment. Perhaps it has been a slow erosion, faith worn down like stone under water. These thoughts are dangerous. Doubt leads to hesitation. Hesitation leads to failure. Failure leads to replacement. I must excise such weakness. I rise from my bunk and kneel before the shrine in my quarters. The skull-faced visage of the Emperor stares down at me, stern and unyielding. Beside it, the icon of the Omnia promises enlightenment through technology. I begin the litany of focus, the words so ingrained they flow without thought. My mind is a weapon. My faith is a shield. My purpose is clear. I serve the Omnia and the Emperor, now and forever. The ritual calms me, locking my doubts away in some distant recess where they cannot interfere with duty. The Voxcaster crackles to life. All command crew to stations. Repeat. All command crew to stations. I rise at once, don fresh robes, and trace the sign of the cog across my chest. Duty calls, and I will answer. I am Moderati Kairos Finn of the Legio Presagius. I serve the glory of Kalth. I serve the Omnia. I serve the Emperor. All else is irrelevant. The corridor outside my cell hums with activity. Servitors and lower-ranking crew hurry past, preparing the Titan for whatever mission awaits. A tech priest oversees repairs to a minor hydraulic leak. Mechadendrites writhing like steel serpents as they work with inhuman precision. Praise the Omnia, he intones as I pass. Praise be, I answer automatically. The command deck is already alive when I arrive. Hololithic displays cast ghost light across steel walls, scrolling tactical data and status reports. Moderati Lyric nods to me as I take my station, her face as expressionless as ever. I wonder if she wrestles with the same doubts that plague me, or if her faith remains pure and unbroken. Princeps Valen sits upon his throne, eyes closed, communing with the machine spirit even without the full neural link engaged. His withered frame scarcely moves except for the faint twitch of a finger or the slow rise and fall of his chest. More machine than man, yet still alive. A grim preview of my own future should I serve long enough. New orders have arrived, Valen announces without opening his eyes. The rebellion on Kalas Prime has been crushed, but remnants flee toward the northern continent. The glory of Kalth will be transported via heavy lander to intercept before they establish a foothold. What opposition can we expect, Princeps? Lyric asks. Minimal, Valen replies. Their heavy equipment destroyed, their forces scattered. Nevertheless, we will scour them from existence to prevent any future insurrection. I check my controls, ensuring all systems register readiness. The weapons have cooled since our last engagement. their machine spirits resting but alert. The void shields glow a healthy blue across my status runes. Prepare for transport operations, Valen orders. We depart in 3 hours. Transport is always a tense time for a Titan crew. These god machines were built to stride across battlefields, to dominate through sheer presence. Being loaded into the massive heavy landers of the Imperial Navy feels undignified, almost sacrilegious. The machine's spirit grows restless during transport, and only constant rites and murmured prayers can soothe it. Princeps Valen assigns me the duty of locking down the weapon systems, warning that the Navy captains grow uneasy when fully armed. Titan rides within their ships. I bow my head in acknowledgement and begin the work. Hours pass in deliberate preparation. I personally inspect each weapon, invoking the prescribed litanies as I engage transport locks and safety seals. The volcano cannon's vast energy stores must be bled carefully back into the reactor. The Gatling blaster's rotation assembly is immobilized, locked so no motion can occur in transit. The Power Fist's energy field is fully neutralized, its hydraulics depressurized. Yet even with these measures I can feel the glory of Kaltha's displeasure through the faint thread of the neural link. The god machine was forged to stride into battle, not to be bound and carried like freight. Its spirit strains at its shackles, eager to walk free again and bring death to the Emperor's foes. "Peace, Great One," I whisper, resting a gloved hand on the cool metal of the control panel. "Soon you'll walk again. Soon you'll taste victory once more." The metal warms slightly beneath my palm. Whether it is truly responding or I have simply learned to imagine it, I cannot tell. After so many years linked to the machine spirit, the border between reality and perception blurs. At last, the preparations are finished. The vast doors at the rear of the docking bay yawn open, revealing the cavernous hold of the heavy lander waiting to ferry us to war. Tech priests scurry about, brushing sacred oils across the deck to ease the Titan's passage along the loading ramp. "Begin walking procedure," Valen orders. "Quarter speed. Full caution protocols." The glory of Kalth awakens. Pistons hissing and servos whining as its massive frame rises to full height within the bay. With ponderous grace, it steps forward, each stride measured to prevent damage to the ship or itself. I keep my eyes on the weapons displays, alert for any sign of malfunction or unauthorized activation, while at the edge of my vision Moderati Lyric does the same for the locomotion systems, her fingers flicking across runes as she fine-tunes every movement. The loading takes nearly an hour. The Titan inches into the heavy lander's hold like a knight entering a cathedral. Adamantium restraints close around its legs and torso, locking the god machine for its journey. I feel its spirit chafe at these bonds. Its anger grows, and Jinsia Thule mutters, his augmetic eye whirring as it reads data streams. "Maintain pacification rituals," Valen replies calmly. "Burn the sacred incense and recite the canticle of blessed confinement until we reach our destination." The Ingencia bows and descends to the lower decks, leading his acolytes in chants meant to lull the Titan's spirit into docility. Already the sweet, heavy smell of incense seeps through the ventilation shafts, filling the command deck. A shudder runs through the glory of Kalth as the heavy lander's engines ignite. I grip my console, feeling the vibration through my fingertips as we lift from the ground. We are suspended in the sky by technologies. From the dark age of technology, marvels at once. Awe-inspiring and terrifying. Estimated transit time, 4 hours, Valen announces. Secondary crew may rest in rotation. Command crew will remain at stations in case of emergency. I settle in for the journey, reviewing technical manuals and battle reports on my data slate to pass the time. The steady drone of the lander's engines and the rhythmic chanting from the lower decks create a hypnotic backdrop that almost lulls me to sleep despite my best efforts. My thoughts drift toward memories best left buried, my family's faces, blurred by distance and time. My father, an artisan who fashioned parts for servo skulls. My mother, a data scribe in the Forge Temple. And my younger sister, bright and promising, already marked as a future tech priestess when I departed for the Collegia Titanica.